Hello everyone. I'm just setting up my iPad here. Let's see if we can get that going and we will be in business. I am Rita Holmes, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Ohio, and I'm here to bring you a card that I call it multiple techniques card because I'm going to be doing several techniques with it, and I just want to bring that to you. I was going to do it earlier this week, did not get a chance, and things have been hectic. So anyway, I do want to ask you if you're on here and you could, if you would like to share my video, I would really appreciate that. And also, I'm going to get this ink off of here real quick. And also, if you would give me a like if you like the video when we're done with it, I would appreciate that. And let's see here. I do want to tell you about my Facebook group, Stamp Crazy VIP, and that is where I do technique videos every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. And I make PDFs of the card and technique that I'm doing to put in my files that you can grab off of there and keep a copy or, you know, have the directions to do the card. And I'm also trying to add some pictures to that now, so as time allows me, I will be doing that. So I wanted to let you know that. You know, we do have our retiring list out right now. It goes till the end of the month. And be sure to look at that because there might be things in the catalog now that you like that you haven't bought yet that you don't want to miss out on. So you can order from them. If you do not have a demonstrator, I'd love to have you order from me. My website is ritaholmes.stampinup.net, and that is in the description below on this video, so it's easy to find. And also, if you'd like to become a demonstrator and take advantage of the discount that you can get to buy your own stuff, I would love to help you with that too. So you can always just let me know. You can shoot me an email. You can get a hold of me on my Stamp Crazy VIP site. You can even put a comment in the video, and I would be more than happy to get back with you. So I am going to get on with my card. And here's what we're going to be doing it tonight. We're just going to be doing it in different colors. Now I have to say these colors was done a little bit differently. Was done by Jo, I think her name's Jo Blackman. And I was so intrigued with the way she did her card and stuff that I decided I wanted to do it. But I'm actually doing it in a different color for the video. She did it in blues. I did this in the Bermuda Bays. And tonight I'm going to use Clips of Coral. So I'm going to show you the different techniques and what I did for the different parts of this card and how I put it together. And we'll get busy with doing that because it does take a few minutes to get all that done. And I want to say the first thing that I'm going to start out with is just a die cut, and it's from the Painted Labels, I think it's called, and it's this die right here. My dies are a hot mess right now, guys, so bear with me. It's this die right here, which I have cut out right here, and I am going to use that as like a stencil. So I've got that out to use, and we'll be doing that. I also will be using the scalloped die that's right here out of the Budding Blooms die set. And I'm also using the Fluttering Butterflies, and I'm using this die right here. And that's to do my butterflies that we're going to be using in the leaves. So with all of that being said, I have this and we are going to get started. The stamp sets, I'll show you the stamp sets, Floating and Fluttering, which is going to be gone at the end of the month. Along with, I'm using Celebrating Your Day out of Gorgeous Posy, and it's going to be gone. And I'm using Happy Birthday out of Sweet Ice Cream, which it will be staying. So that is what I am using today with a lot of other little accessories. So I will explain that as we go along. And I do need a piece of scrap paper, so I am just going to take a piece of something I have back here and use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down because we want to use something. We're using a wrong piece of cardstock. 3.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. And it's going to basically look like this when we're done. Okay? So I'm going to leave that sit there. And I've already lost the card. I probably set it down on something on top of it. There we go. There's our card. So right now I'm going to leave that set there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this is gray granite. I'm going to use basic gray as my ink. And I'm going to stencil this a little bit. And I am using this fine, it's not our blending brush, it's one that I already had. But nonetheless, I'm going to use it. So anyway, I'm just going to ink this up in the basic gray. And I'm just going to go around in a circle. Okay? Just around this die. If you can see that. Whoops, I moved it a little bit, trying to and you can see that as I pull away from it. Then I am going to use another one up. I think I will put it like right here. So we're going to ink up again. And I'm going to hold that right in the center and go around this. There's that one. And then I'm going to put just a little bit down here. And when I do that, I want to make sure I hold onto my piece of cardstock in there. Because I don't want it to really slip on me, so we're going to do that. Whoops. And there we go with that. Okay, that's all I'm going to do to put in that. Now what I'm going to do to kind of soften the edges of this, I'm going to continue with my blending brush, starting off with the paper, and I'm just going to go around my edges. And that just softens our edges a little bit. So there we go. We've got that done. We're done with the basic gray. We're going to put that up. And the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way for a minute because I'm going to make a mess. The next thing we're going to do, and if you can see the little black dots in here, that's what we're going to do. It's a splattering technique, and we're going to take our basic black stamping blends. Now you can take any alcohol marker or whatever, and I know you have seen people splatter like going this way and trying to get a little bit on there, but we are going to take our stuff, and you're going to take the bullet tip, the fat tip, you're going to take that inside the lid, and you're just going to see how that splatters that. And you can get that as splattered as you want or whatever. And you'll see you'll get a little bit on your fingers, so that's par for the course when you're doing this kind of stuff. So therefore we've got that done. Now I'm going to pick it up for a second, and I'm just going to wave it for just a couple seconds. Kind of help that dry a little bit. And now what I'm going to take our shimmer paint, and it's the Frost White. And this is also going to be leaving at the end of the month. And I really like it. I don't use it much, but when I do, I like it. And so this little technique is going to be to use your water brush, or you can use a paintbrush, and you're just going to pick up some paint on the tip of it. And you're just going to splatter it. Now I've done a couple of them where I got the bristles wet and then dried them real well, you know, so where there wasn't water leaking out of them, and did this, and that works good too because it'll work faster that way. So there we go. We got some white on there. Now we're going to have to let that kind of set to the side and dry. That paint doesn't dry as fast as the ink. So I'm going to take this and just kind of wipe it off there. And until I can have time to clean it, I'm going to roll that on the edge of my chamois. There we go. Okay, so we got that part done, and we're going to let that sit for just a minute. And while that is sitting, I'm going to show you, I'll show you on my card. This is our twine right here, and I colored it, which, you know, I know we've all colored ribbon and things like that, but now we're going to color twine. So I'm just going to fold this over. And I'm going to cut a piece of twine. Where's my little scissors? Here they are. And I'm going to take my Calypso Coral, and I'm going to take my light color because it tends to darken when you do this. And you're just going to, and it's got a mind of its own, so when you're rubbing it, you just, and that way you can color your twine if you like to use twine, but you know, you only have the natural. So that's a good way, and you can use, should be able to use pretty much any type of marker doing this. I just have my Stampin' Blends. And if you don't get it all colored, say you have some light and dark in there, you know, that can be fine too. And so here's the difference. I'm going to just lay this on this card. It dries pretty fast. As you can see, the difference in the color there, as in if we would have left it just plain. See how it really kind of brings all of that out? So that's another thing you can do. That's another little technique, is coloring twine. So we did that. And now what I'm going to show you is the butterflies. And what I did here is I've already inked up the stamp, which the stamp is really, really, really easy to ink. Let me move everything around here and get out my black pad, and I think I have a piece of cardstock that it'll fit on. I just want to show you how easy it is to ink it up. And using the black memento pad, you can rub and tap because it's a felt pad, and you won't get those the lines, the swirls in there like you would with the Stampin' Up pads, our ink pads. So I've inked that up pretty well, and I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock, and I'm just going to lay that down in the middle. And just rub on it. Get all the ink in there. And that's how pretty it inks up. It inks up really, really well. So what I'm going to show you is how I colored these, because they're so, so simple. On the leaves, I used the light shaded spruce. The leaves right here. So what I did is I just took in the leaf itself and I just colored them with the light color. And there again, you don't have to use Stampin' Blends. I just prefer them. But if you have other markers and you want to use them, that's fine too. Or even if you just want to use like colored pencils or whatever, you know, whatever it is you like to color with. We're not going to call the Stampin' Police on you. No sense. So what I'm doing is I'm just coloring all of my leaves basically for now. And then I'll color all of these little leaves. And then, because I wanted that to dry some, I'm going to come on the side that's got the lines in it. And I'm just going to go over it with this same color. And because I let that dry and I'm not really wanting to blend it, it's going to give it a two-tone look. You know, sometimes we're mixing in there and we're rubbing the colors together so that they'll blend, but I don't really want these to blend. I want one side to be lighter and one side to be darker. So that's how we did that. Now, how we're going to do our butterflies is they have bold stamps that are in the stamp set. They are here, here, and here. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to, let me find my two stamp pads here. I have a hot mess. I'm going to stamp in Blushing Bride, or ink in Blushing Bride. Then I'm going to use my blending brush with the Calypso Coral. So I'll show you how I did that. I just inked up my stamp really good. And then what I did is I took the tip of my blending brush and just got ink on the tip of it. And I just tapped in the center of that, because I wanted it to be lighter on the outside. And turn this back around. Hope you can see this. I am going to stick that right in the center. Let my ink dissolve into the paper. And so you can see the dark in the center. Next, I'm going to take this little butterfly, and I'm going to do the same with it. I'm just going to go into this center. And then I will stamp it. So I have some light and dark of it. And then I'm going to do the same with this one, and I always have to figure out which way it has to go, because I always forget. So I'm going to ink that up, and so it's going to be this edge over here that I'm going to darken. So I've darkened it. And there we go. And if I wanted to, because I didn't get really a lot of ink down there, I could stamp it again and give it a little darker look. So there is how I did my coloring of my butterflies, which I really, 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 really like. So let me set this out of the way. Bring my card back in so you can see what we're doing. And I'm going to bring in my mini cut and emboss machine, and I'm going to show you how easy these are to cut out. So we're going to take, look at my poor plate. It's been used and abused, I think. Let me find what I did with my, so what I'm going to do, and I hope you can see this, I'll turn this way, is I'm going to lay my butterflies down. Then I'm going to take my die and I'm going to fit it in there. See if I got it pretty well where I might want it. Because I want to show you how this actually works. And I'm going to put this in there holding my die down. I always try to hold the die down when I start it. And I'm trying to get my arm out of the way so you can see a little bit of it. And there we've come out the other end. So let me show you this, what it did. Get all the little scraps off of it. These out of the way. Okay, so here's how it comes out. It comes out in one piece. And you know, you could actually use this on a card like that if you wanted to. Or you can cut it apart. So here's what I did. Lost my scissors. So that's what I've done. They gotta be here because I just used them. Here they are. Okay, so what I did with this is I just took and I cut each element apart to begin with. So see how you can just cut them apart. Oh, this one's just cut at all kinds of places. There we go. And then we'll cut these apart. Okay, so there is my leaves. And if you'll notice, they have some little jagged edges where you've cut them apart. And so I just take and kind of trim that off. Where they were held together, I just kind of take that and get my little leaves cut apart. And here's a piece right here, a little tiny piece. There we go. So there's our leaves. And here's our butterflies. And if you'll notice, mine don't have any white around them. So what I did was, I'm going to take these three butterflies. What I did with my butterflies too is I took and put some Wink of Stella in the wing portions and let that dry just to give it some shimmer when I put it on my card. So let's do that. Okay, let's set these up here and let them dry. I have three other butterflies that's already done and dried. So what I did, even though I die cutted them, even though I used the die cuts and cut them out, I went ahead, and this is pretty fast, is I just cut, I wanted to cut out the white. So I went ahead and went around cutting out white. Try to leave some of their wings on. And here are their antennas. And here you might end up leaving some white, but that's alright. I'm going to show you how to take care of that. Another little technique when you're cutting out stuff and you have white where you don't want it and you want black. So, whoops. I've cut out quite a few of these butterflies, so it's like the more I cut out, the less time I end up taking doing them. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it'll let me show you some stuff that I'm doing with them. So anyway, there's that butterfly cut out. Let's go to this one. And I know a lot of people don't like to fussy cut. I like it. You know, I think when I started stamping, we didn't have die cuts, you know. And so if you wanted anything cut out, you'd sit and cut it by hand. And so see these little tiny antennas? Okay, now let me cut this side of them, because they're just like a piece of thread. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a little V out of here. Let me pull the V out without pulling his antenna off, I hope. He's the hard one to do. Okay. There we go. We've got him cut out. Now, let's lay him aside, and I'm going to show you when I get them all done. We'll do this one real quick. And I know I don't have the I don't pre-do my videos, so I'm not zooming way fast, and for a lot of the reasons is I don't know how to do all that. That's my next thing to learn, is how to make better videos, I guess. If you want to put it that way. Just how to get better video quality. But I'm just me, and I'm just stamping. This is how I do it. It's all done in real time. And that's okay. Gives you an idea of how long it takes to do it this way. Which is rather important, because then it makes you decide, I don't want to ever try to make that card. It takes too long. Or, yeah, wasn't as bad as I thought. So whichever way. Okay, now I want to get this little piece of white here. It's bothering me. So, get him off. Okay, there I have my butterflies. And as you can see, there's some white on them and stuff. So I'm going to show you how to take care of all that to make them really dark. You're going to use your sponge dauber. We're going to bring in this piece of scrap paper real quick and lay these down. And I'll start with the big one first. And I've left some white around there, but that's okay, because I'm just going to dab that and make them black. Okay? So see how I made those black antennas? And then I'm going to take and kind of go around the edges, because that was white. And it'll help color that in. And there we go. And see, I got some black on there and stuff, but that's okay. And his little really fine antennas, I'm just going to make sure I just don't want to pull them off. And I'm just going to go around him. And I'm going to do the same with this one, because he's got little antennas on there too, if you can see them. Looks like a little snail to me. But we're going to do that. And then we have all of our butterflies done, and that's what we would be doing to these. But we only need one set, so let's not take all of our time playing with butterflies. So that's done. We got that one done. So we're going to set our butterflies aside along with our leaves. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this black piece of 1x3 cardstock, and I'm going to use the white Stampin' Craft pad, and I'm going to use the saying "Celebrating Your Day," and I'm going to stamp. I just want to ink it up good. And I'm going to stamp that in the center, or as close to the center as I can, because I can't really see it that well. I'm going to hold it down, let that ink soak up, and there we go. So we're done with that, so let's let that sit up here and dry for a second. And while that's doing that, here is, I'm going to see if our piece of paper that we used is dry yet. I think it's good enough to use. We'll use it. Put my extra piece over here. So now what we're going to do is I took and I cut a vellum. I call it a wreath. I cut that out to go on the front of my card. Okay? So I'm just going to put it about right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a tiny, tiny bit of glue, because I'll have that covered up a little bit. Decide where I want that to be placed and push that down, and that'll dry. Okay? And what I did, I took another 1x3 piece of Calypso Coral, and I cut that little scalloped edge out. And whoops, I'm dropping stuff, girls. There we go. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put a little bit of glue at the top here. And I'm going to lay my Celebrating the Day on top of that. And I'll pick it up and make sure it's kind of straight, not real crooked. There we go. So I'm just going to have that like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to put my piece of twine down. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take, I'm going to take two glue dots, and I'm just going to put them, if I can get them off of here. I'm going to put them next to each other, like that, because I want to use them for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press an end of that kind of to the edge of the, and I'm going to make a circle, press it into that. I'm going to make another circle, and this stuff kind of has a mind of its own, so you have to let it just do its thing. And I'm going to press it in. Then I think I'm going to bring this one around from the bottom. Maybe. And I'm going to press all of that into that dot, those two dots really well. And that's going to hold those there. Okay? Kind of looks funny at the moment, but that's okay. I am going to now take some dimensionals, and I have them here somewhere. But I've laid stamp pads all over the place and die cuts. Here we go. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to place these right across where I glued that. I'm going to put 3 of them on there. Like so. Take off my backings. And then we are going to place this. I'm going to place it about right there. I think that looks good. So there we go. We have that on our card, okay? And now with this, I'm just going to add these to my card. So let's, I think I'll take this one and I'll just put it a little, I want it on the back side, not the front, because I want them to lay flat. And I'm going to tuck that in under there, okay? And I'm going to do the same with these two. And just add them where I think I'd like them. And so you can just put them, you can put them in under the vellum or on top, whichever way you like it. There we go. Okay, now I'm ready to add my butterflies. Now you know we have this already popped up. So what I'm going to do with this butterfly is I want it to be down here a little bit, but kind of hanging off of the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put, and this is where I'm just going to cut a little piece. And I'm actually going to stick it sideways right here. Right down under there where you can't see it. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to pop that already where it's popped up, but that's the only place I want it to be because I want my butterfly to float a little bit, okay? This butterfly I think I'm going to take and I'm going to just glue it. I think I'm going to just put some glue down the center of this one, right down his little body. And I think I'm actually just going to stick him. I might stick him going this way. I like that. That's different. So I want his little wings up that way. And then I'm going to take this one. And I want him to be higher than all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take right here towards the center. I'm going to add a dimensional. Take the backing off. And I'm going to add another dimensional. So it gives it more height right there. And then I think it'll go right, let's go right there. Now the only thing I have to do there is add some gems. And on my card here, I add the metallic silver. It gave it kind of a soft look. But, on this card, I'm going to add the jewels because I just want you to see the difference in that and how it looks. So I'm going to take and then just add some jewels to it. Let's get right here. And there we go. And that just adds a lot more cluster stuff. Now the last thing I want to do is I want to show you how to make our little ombre piece of cardstock that's right here. I've got one made so you can see what the finished product's going to be. This is going to go on the inside of my card. I'm going to do the one for out here. Let me go ahead and put that on the inside of the card. If I can get a hold of it. This is going to be my inside of my card. So let's glue this one down. And then we're going to make the one for the outside and finish putting it together. So let's put this down. And you can just, any kind of markers that'll blend, you know, alcohol markers or whatever. So let's go ahead and take our card. And I am going to fold it. I didn't even score this, so we can get it. Okay. So there we go. I cut that at 4 1/4 by 11 so it would open long ways this way. So let's go ahead and put some glue on there. And we'll go ahead and glue this into our inside. And I think we'll go ahead and stamp the happy birthday before we finished the front. Let's do that. I like this big happy birthday. So we're just going to stamp that. And there we go. We have happy birthday. So let me show you how to do that little piece of paper that I did real quick. And that's our last little technique. I've lost the lid to my glue. Here it is. Okay, and that will be the last piece of technique, because if you can see, we could lay this on here and be done. But see how that little extra shows? Let's bring this in. I have a piece of, it's cut 3 1/4 by 5 1/2, 3/4 inch by 5 1/2 inch. And what I used is my light and dark Calypso Coral and my light and dark Petal Pink. So what I did is I started with my dark, and I don't have to color all of this because it's going to be behind the card. So I'm going to do this backwards so that you guys can see it. I won't have my hands in the way. So there we go. That's our dark. Here's our light. And I'm going to blend that dark in right there. Here's our light. Then we're going to go, oops, yeah, right in. So we're just going to color that, and then we'll go with some dark. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and I'm going to take my light, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to blend that right there. I think I'm going to take my light right here. And I don't think I have to do my dark, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my light and I'm just going to go down this edge a little bit. Okay. So there's my paper. Kind of looks like a little hot mess when you're doing it. Can you see it? There we go. So you're just coloring dark, light, light, dark. And what I'm going to do now is on this bottom that I didn't color, I'm going to add some glue. And I'm going to take and just add this to leave a border. And I see just a hair. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. I mean, it's just a sliver. I'm going to cut that off. Okay. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue this right onto my card. See how that brightens that card up to do that? So now I'll just add my glue, making sure I get it over both edges. And you can go straight to the center. You can have it more towards the bottom. I'm putting this one more towards the bottom. I'm going to stand it up and make sure my edge on my folded edge is perfect. And that way if it's a little longer over here, which you can see it's just a hair longer, I can go ahead and cut that off. Because I want it to be flush. I don't want that white or light gray background showing. And there's a little bit of glue there. I'm just going to rub that off. There we go. And this is our finished card. So here's the one in Calypso Coral we just finished. And then here's the one in Bermuda Bay. And I like them both. Stand him up a little bit. He's flying down towards the thing. But if you want a softer look, you could either cut that or just leave the greenery and stuff off. I kind of like the greenery on there. I think it gave it a pop factor. So, and then there's the insides of them. So there they go. That is our card tonight, ladies. I hope you enjoyed it. It's just showing a lot of different little techniques. It's using, you know, a die cut for a stencil to do light and dark there, splattering with a Stampin' Blends, shimmering paint, splattering, coloring twine, making your little own cardstock pieces in the different colors like an ombre. So a lot of little techniques and stuff there that you don't even have to do this whole card. You could take that and do pieces of other cards, you know, whatever that you like. So anyway, that's my video tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. It's probably a little bit longer than what I usually do, but I had a lot to show tonight. So I will let you all go. You all have a nice evening or day, whatever time you are watching this. And I hope the weather's nice, as nice where you are as it has been here. Have a little rain tonight, but it's been beautiful as far as temps. Thank you guys and have a great day. Bye.